Imagine this. Every wall in your home has a screen. The screen doesn't just show you images, it watches you. It records every turn you make in bed, every twitch on your face, every word you mutter in your sleep. Outside, on every street, a giant face stares down from posters with a single line beneath it. Big Brother is watching you. This is the world of George Orwell's 1984. It is not just science fiction, it is a warning. Today, I'll walk you through this novel from beginning to end. Winston Smith's quiet rebellion, his forbidden love, and that unforgettable final scene no reader ever escapes. Ready? Welcome to Oceania. The year is 1984. The world is divided into three superstates: Oceania, Eurasia, and Eastasia. They are in constant war, though no one really remembers when it began or whether it ever ends. Our story takes place in London, now part of Oceania. But this is not the London you know. The streets are decaying, the buildings crumbling, food is scarce. Above everything stands the party, ruled by a figure nobody has ever truly seen and who may not even exist: Big Brother. The party has three slogans posted everywhere: war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. Even questioning these contradictions is a crime, because the party doesn't just control your behavior, it controls your mind. They call it thought crime, and its punishment is worse than death. And in this world, we meet Winston Smith, 39 years old, thin, with a varicose ulcer above his right ankle, an ordinary party member. He works at the Ministry of Truth, and his job is almost absurd: to rewrite the past. He takes old newspapers, photographs, and books and edits them to match whatever the party currently claims. If the party announces that yesterday's enemy is today's ally, Winston erases the records of yesterday. The past is whatever the party says it is. But something inside Winston begins to stir. One day, in a corner of his apartment hidden from the telly screen, he finds an old diary and starts writing. One sentence: down with Big Brother. With that sentence, Winston has signed his own death warrant. There is no going back. Two people at the ministry catch Winston's attention. The first is a dark-haired young woman named Julia. Winston is convinced she is a spy. The second is a senior party member named O'Brien, in whose eyes Winston believes he sees a flicker of secret rebellion. Maybe O'Brien is a member of the legendary resistance, known as the Brotherhood. One day, in a corridor, Julia slips Winston a note. It says only 3 words: I love you. Winston is stunned. They begin meeting in secret, first in the countryside, then in a small room above an antique shop in the slums. They believe this room has no telescreen. Here they can be themselves. They can touch, talk, even laugh. Julia hates the party but doesn't dream of revolution. She just wants to live. For Winston, this love is a personal cry for freedom. Through their bodies, they rebel, but their happiness is fragile, because in Oceania, peace is always the deepest trap. Eventually, O'Brien approaches Winston. He invites him home, offers him fine wine, and welcomes him into what he claims is the Brotherhood. Winston and Julia swear loyalty. O'Brien hands them a forbidden book written by Goldstein that explains the true mechanics of the party. Winston reads it aloud to Julia in their secret room, and for the first time, he feels he understands the world. The wars are fake. History is fake. The only real thing is power, sought for its own sake. But just then, A cold metallic voice rises from behind an old painting on the wall. There has been a telescreen there all along. They have been betrayed. Mr. Charrington, the kind old shopkeeper, is in fact a member of the thought police. The doors burst open. Julia is struck in the stomach. Winston is thrown to the floor. The last moment of their love is a look exchanged across the room. Winston wakes up in the windowless cells of the Ministry of Love. And do you know who his interrogator is? O'Brien. From the very beginning, O'Brien was a loyal party agent, the perfect trap. For months, Winston is tortured, not only his body, but his mind. O'Brien wants to teach him one truth: the party is always right, because the party creates reality. If the party says 2 + 2 = 5, then it equals 5. Winston resists, and at some point his mind breaks. But one corner remains untouched. He still loves Julia. He has not betrayed her. So O'Brien takes him to the most terrible place of all, Room 101. Inside Room 101 is each person's greatest fear. For Winston, it is rats. A cage of starving rats is strapped to his face. In that final second, Winston screams, "Do it to Julia." Not me, do it to Julia. And in that instant, the last human part of him dies. The ending of the novel is quieter than you would ever expect. Winston is released. He is harmless now. He sits in a cafe, drinks endless gin, watches the news flicker on the screen. One day he meets Julia again. Her face wears the same empty expression as his. They look at each other, but there is nothing left. Each of them betrayed the other. Each of them has been broken. The story ends as Winston looks up at the telescreen and sees Big Brother's face. Tears run down his cheeks, and a single sentence rises inside him: he loved Big Brother. It is one of the bleakest endings in literature, because Orwell tells us this: a totalitarian system can take more than your body. It can take your soul. It can not only stop you from loving what you love, but make you love what you once hated. The lesson 1984 leaves us is simple. Freedom is the ability to say that 2 + 2 = 4. Lose that, and you lose truth. Lose truth, and you lose yourself. So read, question, remember. Even remembering is a form of resistance. Subscribe for more classics. See you in the next one.